Oh, wait, I need to be signed up for that. How did I miss that? Oh, no, I need to be invited to that.
G, one, C. Red, white, and blue. Stars and stripes, voices raised, proud to stand the American way. Come on in and sing along. 2G, 1C. Red, white, and blue.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is 2G1C, a red, white, and blonde here on the America First Media and Television Network. Thank you again for starting your Tuesday with us. We got an amazing show today. If you guys have been following at all the Lindsay Clancy case, that is briefly the case out of Massachusetts, where a mother is accused of killing her three children and then jumping out of a window. She's paralyzed. It's riveting. It's riveting the nation, and it's riveting me and Maureen. And we couldn't think of anybody better to have on to discuss this particular case and the effect of mental health and really the direction of mental health on this than Miss Carol Lieberman, Dr. Carol Lieberman. She's America's psychiatrist. She's a best-selling author, nationally recognized mental health expert. She spent decades analyzing criminal behavior, psychiatric illness, and the impact of medications on the mind. Dr. Carol, thank you so much for joining us again. I know both Maureen and I separately had the absolute honor and pleasure of having you on our shows, and here we are together. So it feels full circle for us, that's for sure. Again, welcome. Briefly, Dr. Carol, if you could explain maybe your background, and then we want to jump right into this case.
Sure.
And Maureen and I have some different thoughts on it, and we certainly
Good.
can't wait to get your take on it.
Good,
So
good. Well,
welcome.
thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an honor.
Welcome, Dr. Carol. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll just mention my background, which you pretty much have already done in terms of this case, or in terms of, where I'm coming from in this case. I'm a psychiatrist, and I see patients, but I also work as a forensic psychiatrist and expert witness in trials. And I would be like one of the experts, except that I would have prepared before I came on.
Yeah, okay, that's going to be a good point later. Yeah, go on.
Would you have read your notes before?
Yes.
You're not like Dr.
10
Tuck,
times.
Yeah, correct.
So I've been fascinated with this, not only from the point of view of being an expert witness, but also the point of view of the medication and the level of the treatment that Lindsay got. I mean, I hope, there are people, we were talking before we came on about how people have such strong views about this. There are people who just can't get past the fact that she killed her children. I mean, yes, of course, that's horrible. But I believe that she was in the throes of a postpartum psychosis and depression. So I think we need the more important thing to look at, and really what this should be, this case should be something that is shown in psychiatric residency programs to teach psychiatrists what not to do.
Yeah.
Because these people, one after the other, are just unbelievable. The one who I think, I'm not sure if I've seen everybody, but I saw Dr. Tufts and Dr. Goodhart, and both of them psychiatrists. And Dr. Tufts The reason why, I mean, she is just awful. And the reason why that really disturbs me is that when when she saw Lindsay, she was just 1 month out of her residency program, her psychiatry residency program. So this is what we are teaching our new psychiatrists to be like, to not do therapy. Of course, this has been a thing, a longstanding problem that psychiatrists, even older than she is, for years now, have become pill pushers and not been doing enough therapy. But she was sort of the epitome of it, like here we have a fresh person. This is what they teach them. She talked about how she does. First of all, she saw Lindsay for 25 minutes. Her sessions were like 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, I think she said, online. And she said, oh, I do therapy. 17 minutes of the 25 to 30 minutes were therapy. And when the defense attorney asked her what she does during that therapy time, she said, well, I listen to her and I give her hope. Hello, lady. That is not what therapy is.
Yeah.
Therapy is when you don't just listen sort of vaguely, online, but you get to the root of it. That's the point of therapy. She sort of asked her, how do you feel about each of your children? How do you feel about your husband? The husband is a whole other issue. He is, there's something very sneaky, slimy, horrible about him.
Yeah.
But primarily the thing that has been driving me nuts are these mental health professionals.
Yep.
Dr. Carroll, I found it interesting. First point I want to make is this is outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So we're not talking some little town in a flyover state that has one mental health professional and, with very limited resources, because there are cities and counties like that in this country that they don't have the mental health facilities that we need. But this is outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And they have been touting several of these expert witnesses that went to Harvard, from the McLean Hospital was Harvard. They've been throwing all this out.
Yes.
And this Dr. Tuff yesterday, I'm not sure where she went to school, but this again is in a very well-developed area of the country.
Well, she went to medical school in Virginia, and she went to, she went to her psychiatry residency. I think she said was in the Boston, at Boston General or something like that.
So you would agree? You would agree? Yes, that these would be considered top-notch psychiatrists and mental health professionals and hospitals, which they are failing miserably. And the other thing I wanted to point out is she has, her husband they were very well off. He worked for Microsoft. I'm sure he had the best insurance. And her defense attorney has pointed out many times how, if these providers didn't check a certain box, the insurance wouldn't pay for it. So they were literally making sure that, like postpartum isn't covered. So they had to check other boxes. And that's
common across medical anyways, that kind of thing.
And that's another very important thing to point out is somebody who is, economically sound, they have money, they have good insurance, and she still is being failed by the mental health profession, medical profession, and insurance.
Well, insurance is a big problem in general for mental health. But, I wasn't aware, of course, I don't take insurance, but I wasn't
smart lady.
Self-pay is the way to go.
I had to, because when I started out, and I was taking all kinds of insurance. I do give people what do they call it, a super bill. I do give patients a bill, and they can bring it to their insurance. And, if they get paid something, great. But when I started out, I was taking all kinds of insurance, even like Medicare and Medi-Cal and all of that. And then I realized I was spending most of my time arguing with the insurance companies instead of treating the patients.
Correct.
So that's why I had to do it. But the insurance companies are at the root of why psychiatrists in general, I'm not just talking about this case, have had, or so they have decided that they can't spend a lot of time doing therapy. I'm not excusing them by any means, but when insurance companies started reducing how much they pay psychiatrists for therapy versus paying social workers or psychologists, because those people get less money because they didn't go to medical school. So psychiatrists, woke up one day and said, hey, I can't afford to do 8 hours. Let's say you do see 8 patients a day, 8 hours a day. I can't afford to see 8 patients a day of 8 hours of therapy with the amount that the insurance companies were paying me. So, that's the excuse in any case that they give. Again, I am not excusing them. So they become pill pushers. Besides this case, just in general, this is a major problem. And so a patient comes in, any patient comes in, they tell them whatever their, symptoms are. And then the psychiatrist, picks a pill. And I was on last night, on a show last night, and they had a guy, a psychiatrist, and he was saying, well, it's pretty much experimentation, or you just kind of see, you try this, try that.
Yeah, this one may work.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, correct.
That's not how you do it. I mean, but this is what people are thinking. And that's how people end up like Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah. 13 different medications. She 30 over her time, but 13 right there as far as what would be considered medication for her depression or her postpartum psychosis and all that. We got about 40 seconds before the break. If we can, because we want to really get into this case, I also want to understand, maybe from your perspective, what is truly postpartum psychosis? Have you yourself experienced patients with that? And what's the treatment, at least the initial diagnosis of it? Is that something you truly believe Lindsay Clancy had? Or was this kind of fed into her by the husband? That you're just crazy, because that happens. So we got about 10 seconds left before the break.
I think she
think
really
about that,
I do think she really fits the criteria for.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear why that is. Honestly, I value that opinion. We will be right back after this.
Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land. I've been there, I looked, I tried to see. Here I am in New York City, watching a nice sunrise. Not really. I'm in the warehouse. I'm telling you about a conservative organization, not the AARP loser, left wing, forget about it. This is where you need to be. You get everything conservative menus. America.us/TAFW.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Hey Patriots, we're excited to bring to you Sugar Creek Goods, all natural quality skincare products brought to you by great patriots like we are here. That's why we brought this into the America First Warehouse. All these great natural products are amazing, and you can get them on our website and go right to www.sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. These are phenomenal products. I love them all. And this one right here is for Patriot Pup. Thank you so much for supporting us.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity.
there. We are back with my co-host Dale on 2G1C, Red, White, and Blonde, staying sassy, especially with this episode we have. And Dr. Carol Lieberman, America's psychiatrist. We left before the break talking about postpartum psychosis. You said briefly before we went on break, yes, you believe that she had it. In my research, she was never diagnosed with it. No doctor diagnosed her with it. She never said that's what she had. She was diagnosed with anxiety and insomnia were the two main things that we've seen through the trial. But explain to us postpartum psychosis, and did she exhibit, in your opinion, obvious behaviors that would lead to that?
Yes. I do think she had postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis really anything just like postpartum depression. All it means is that the person is having a psychotic episode or episodes or depression during the postpartum period, meaning up to 12 months after they delivered a baby. That's all it means. So psychosis is being out of touch with reality. And you can have hallucinations, you can have delusions, you aren't thinking like with reality. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have some time in reality. I mean, that's what they were trying to make a big deal of. Like, well, she isn't crazy every minute. Yeah. She told him to leave the house to bring things back for some food and all that. And see, this brings up an interesting thing, though. And by the way, first of all, if no doctor or mental health professional has diagnosed her with that up to now, it's only because they don't know what they're doing. Doesn't really mean that she doesn't have it.
Another failure by the mental health.
Correct. Yep.
But the one person who will probably come on the stand and diagnose her with it is his expert witness. The defense expert witness will be saying she has postpartum psychosis, I would imagine. But this brings up an interesting subject, which is the husband. And he, on the stand, he was trying to answer three different masters. One is, yes, he is filled with rage towards her, but for killing their kids. But assuming that she killed the kids and not him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't want to, totally destroy her because they are both suing the mental health professionals, for malpractice and negligence and all of that. So he has to be on her side, and he has said publicly that he forgives her and all that, which I think is,
bullcrap. But who knows? Yeah, but I agree.
And so he's trying to put on, I forgive her. He's trying to put on, it's the mental health professional's fault. And he's trying to hide that he's enraged. But he actually has said some things that were really bad for the defense. And, it kind of slipped out like a really obvious one. Well, I don't know that it was that obvious, like to the jury, but he was asked about whether she heard voices telling her to kill the kids. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, she said that the voices were inside her head. Now, maybe she told him that because she didn't want to seem like she was so crazy. But she has said that they were external voices, or at least one voice, the one that said to kill your kids now, to do it now because you don't want them to be without you, without a mother. Which is kind of interesting also, because why was she going to die? Was the husband going to kill her? Was she going to die from did she have some psychotic idea of why she was going to die? Well, she was suicidal for one thing. She knew that. So he was like saying different things all over the place. Also with the pills, he was saying, once he said, no, well, she took the pills. But then another time he said, well, I wasn't with her every time she took her pills. So he was like going back and forth, being helpful to the defense and not being helpful because his anger towards her, was coming out also.
It was sketchy at best, his testimony.
And do you know about how it's come out that he's been making trips to New York? During, and gee, what a coincidence. He married a woman from New York.
Yeah.
He left 4 months after this happened. He left and moved to New York, was remarried, has another child, and they have one on the way.
This is all since 2023 at this point now. You know,
he got $1.7 million from a GoFundMe, sold the house, and now is in New York starting over a whole new life. Now, you know, Dr. Carol, the most dangerous man in the world is one who wants to start a new life. That's the old saying, right? I mean,
yes.
We can look at Chris Watts, Scott Peterson. I mean, we can go down the line.
Yes, yes.
I also heard an interesting take on this, that she's a labor and delivery nurse. And this was another nurse that was talking in an interview. And he said that medical professionals are very, very cautious about talking to anyone about their mental health. Because they don't want it to come back and affect their licensing, their job. What do you think about that?
Yes, that's a good point. That's true. That would have contributed to her not revealing everything. But, you know, psychiatrists, because like, especially like if she wanted to change jobs or if there was something that came up at work and they were, you know, they wanted to see her psych records. Yes, that is something to be potentially concerned about. But, you know, and also, but psychiatrists are supposed to be aware. I mean, that, you know, the defense attorney has asked them often, you know, did you ask her this? Did you, you know, do you know that sometimes patients don't tell the truth? They don't want to divulge all their symptoms. What did you do about that? And clearly these people who were like rushing from one person to another, you know, that's the thing. It's like half an hour for the, you know, how do you diagnose postpartum depression or psychosis when you give the patient a half an hour?
Yep, correct.
And they've already filled out a questionnaire and you have to, I mean, you know, and they had it where Dr. Tufts had to fill out a questionnaire too, that she couldn't write things in it or it was hard to write.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, that was a good point.
I mean, I've never heard of that. I mean, yeah, well, I shouldn't say I've never heard of it. Yes, there are papers that clinicians have, especially like if she was in this, you know, this group, not really in a private practice, but she was in this group of private practitioners essentially. And so they have this whole system. But it's just a way to make the things go faster. You know, it's not about better patient care. And she could have written, I mean, she was kind of wobbling about this, but she did say that she could have written, you know, he asked her, could you have taken a pen and written on it? So it seemed like she could have, but that would have taken more time, you know.
Well, and her answer to that was, well, because it's on the computer. It's how the computer is. It's the way the computer is. Like, so
her whole testimony to me led me and to be honest with you, Maureen and I have had these conversations about, she thinks the husband did it. I'm not against that theory. I think personally she did do it. I think there's evidence for both and both strange. It's just the strangest case. And that's why neither defense or prosecution are arguing that the husband did it at this point. And Maureen's point is that maybe they're setting it up, but that just leads me to the point of the whole medication process on this, that I think the bigger picture that, and it is sad that the kids died, but I think it's the whole medication and this whole her stay in McLean Hospital and then Tufts' testimony afterwards. It's like everything failed her, and so I'm just trying to figure out. She
was failed, and I think the criminal justice system is failing her too. But Dr. Carol, I want to ask you go back to Dr. Tufts, just a quick question. Do you think she should have some type of repercussion for her testimony yesterday?
I think the licenses should be taken away from all of these treaters.
Okay.
Good. Okay, that's what people are saying.
I mean, they're being sued, and I think they should lose all their money and and never practice again. Their license. I mean, that's the main thing. Their licenses should be taken away.
Okay, good. I'm glad you think that.
I mean, hear this, Dr. Tufts. She just got out of residency, as I was saying. And how is she going to change? Like, how is she going to get better? I mean, yes, you would hope that this case might make her think twice, but she's not going to go back to get trained anywhere, you know, unless they make her. like if they take away her license and make her go through all of them, make them go through more training, but that's unlikely.
So there's no coming back, you don't think, from this, what she's going
I don't think she's going to put the effort in to come back I mean, I think she thinks she's like a really cool.
I do too. I think she thinks she's the expert that she claims she thinks it was. And
yes.
and so who did they seek her out, or was she assigned her after a certain period? Did they? I don't know.
Wasn't the mother-in-law wasn't Patrick Kelsey's mother, who's also a labor delivery nurse?
I'm not really
wasn't
sure.
she I'm thinking that she was the one that recommended her.
Tough.
I have another question about the medical. I felt like in the earlier part of the trial, when the doctor, the one-armed doctor, you know, like
I know.
not the fugitive. We're not talking.
Yeah,
the movie.
I know. Yeah.
But what did you think of her testimony? She was so dismissive and didn't look at her notes. And what did you think about that, Dr. Carroll?
Now, I'm not sure if I saw her or I just didn't notice that she only had one arm.
Well, she was very early in the trial. I've watched every minute of this trial. She was very early on, maybe day 2 or 3. She was in the emergency room. They brought her to a hospital to assess, and then they airlifted her to Brigham Women's Hospital, which is where she ended up being. But this doctor, if you have a chance, go back and look at her testimony. She was terrible. She was so dismissive. She didn't look at her notes. She didn't know any details, to where finally Kevin Raddington said, this is a murder trial. You should be prepared for this. And we're going to go to break.
I do remember him saying that to someone. I think I didn't notice, but that she had one. Was she wearing like long sleeves?
No, she had the one arm.
Long sleeves. We got 10 seconds, Doctor, before we go to break. But let's discuss that and so much more about this after this very intriguing case. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Visconti, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh, wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge, and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers, patriotmobile.com/, it bends to the right, I don't have to tell you, TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Agara coffee. Why? Because it increases focus.
This is T-Mac, the Patriot, and I love Patriot products like Sugar Creek Goods. Check it out today on our website.
It's me, Joe the Box.
And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
Welcome back, everybody. This is 2G1C, Red, White, and Blonde. I'm Dale. That's my co-host, Maureen, and we're here with Dr. Carol Lieberman reviewing the Lindsay Clancy case right here at the America First Media and Television Network. Dr. Lieberman, we were talking about kind of the before the break, all the testimony from the psychiatrists and just the baffling. It was almost shocking when I was listening to it. Like, who would go to her? Like, who is doing this? How did this all happen? There's another one you wanted to talk about, which was Dr. Goodhart, which I am not that familiar with in this case. So I'm glad you brought her up. What about Dr. Goodhart that you wanted to speak about?
Well, I mean, she too was not very well prepared. But I mean, so, you know, I don't know what they thought they were coming to, you know, like, how do you not prepare for something? I agree. I mean, I prepare a gazillion hours for just normal cases, you know, run of the mill average cases. This is a murder case that, you know, will be televised. How do you not know everything, have everything memorized? Anyway, Dr. Goodhart, she was the one who saw her at McLean. Yes. Okay. And she was being asked about her, the discharge of Lindsay, and they discharged her way too soon. She was not ready to be discharged. And here she was on a locked ward, which was kind of strange because, I mean, this Dr. Goodhart said, you know, well, I had to discharge her because she was voluntary. And now you don't usually put voluntary patients on a locked ward. You
on a locked ward, right?
Yeah, you put people who are on a 5150, you know, where they're involuntary. And so you have to keep them there with a locked ward. I mean, I was chief resident at NYU Bellevue, so I know about this stuff. Anyway, so the defense attorney was asking about what resources she gave Lindsay when she discharged her. And this was like to take the cake. She said, well, I told her she could look at Psychology Today, I guess, on a website. And first of all, I mean, I know there are psychiatrists who write something, you know, put an ad or whatever in there from time to time, but it's mainly psychologists. And she did need a psychiatrist for follow-up. Besides, I mean, like, and then the other alternative was to call her insurance and find out, you know, get some referrals what psychiatrists are on the insurance that she has. Well, now, as we were talking about before, she had a ton of money. She didn't need a psychiatrist who was on the insurance. So both of those suggestions were ridiculous. And, you know, and here she was anyway. She was not in any shape, as I was said, to be discharged. She was still really sick. And to put that, for her to have to make that effort, whether it's to look on Psychology Today or to call her insurance. I mean, usually you give the patient a list of names of psychiatrists in the area who are well respected. Like typically each hospital has a list of this that you're not supposed to you're supposed to recommend at least 3. You're not supposed to say, go to Dr. So-and-so, but you recommend at least 3. And I don't know, I guess McLean's doesn't do that, or she didn't know the list, or I have no idea why she said that, but this is the first time I have ever heard someone tell a patient that as they discharge them from a hospital.
Yeah, go look at a website or go check this magazine out or periodical.
Dale, can I have some notes about McLean and that particular visit. That was in 2003. She was taken by ambulance. I believe she took herself there. I mean, she called it, you know, she went herself. She was reporting severe insomnia, emotional numbness, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. She did not say she wanted to. She supposedly has never said in any of her records that she wanted to commit suicide. She had thoughts. And Goodhart's diagnosis was major depression disorder without psychotic features or signs of psychosis. Clancy said she had no plans to harm herself or others, cited her children and family as reasons to live. Goodhart said she had no reason to believe she was not reliable and said that she could be discharged. And then also it came out in testimony that Dr. Goodart acknowledged she had never treated a patient with postpartum psychosis in more than 20 years of her practice. And McLean, no, this is a mental hospital, McLean. Yes. McLean did not obtain Clancy's prior outpatient records, did not administer specific postpartum screening tools, such as Edinburgh postnatal depression scale, and did not check blood levels for her medications. Care relied primarily on Clancy's self-report and in-hospital observation. Now, this morning, before we came on air, her attorney, the defense, is arguing a motion. A nurse that worked at McLean for 8 years and left a year prior to Lindsay Clancy being admitted there, did a TikTok video saying how horrible McLean is, that hospital, and how horribly staffed they are on a regular basis. But this was New Year's Day.
Yes, yes.
Or New Year's Eve, going into New Year's Day.
Yep.
So Harrington, is his name Kevin Harrington? He was arguing in front of the judge today, no jury, arguing the motion to bring this former nurse in as a witness because the prosecution has done such a terrible job of providing this information. They made McLean look like they were just the best hospital, and throughout the Harvard in it. So the judge, and he's going to make his decision, but I sort of felt like the judge made some good arguments about like, well, yeah, but her attorney, the defense, also brought up that he still has not been able to get the pediatrician records for the children. They have denied every time, and he now has a contempt hearing about that. And the defense is argued today that he has not been able to get many of her primary care records, her OB records. Like, they're fighting him at every turn, which is not right. So, this is, again, opening up another window of the prosecution is trying to paint this case as a open 1, 2, 3 shut. She did it. We're driving the car here, but her attorney is doing a very good job at poking holes in all of this.
Yeah, he is doing a good. And 19 days after her release, she's obviously is when the children died. However you think that happened and who did it, but that and they didn't diagnose her at McLean with like postpartum or psychosis.
And she wasn't suicidal. So, she didn't display any of these, which we understand.
She didn't develop it in 19 days is my point. That she didn't leave there and then all of a sudden 19 days she developed postpartum psychosis, correct? Right. That would be the assumption.
Yes. No. First of all, McLean's and Harvard General or Mass General, I have been noticing this for a few years now from patients who went there or were hospitalized there and who come and when with their records, and the records are like so bad. They are not living. It's not the same Harvard and not the same McLean's and not the same Mass General as it used to be. So that's one thing. But people who got like this older woman who was put on 5 million medications, even though she had lots of physical problems, heart problems and all kinds. It was ridiculous. She was, and she did die actually. I wasn't her. I just saw her twice. I was about someone else then continued the treatment because they wanted to give her to somebody who took insurance, and she died a few months later, sadly. Anyway, because you really had to take her off each medication very slowly. Anyway, I'm not going to get off that track, but that was one of the examples of how I saw, that they're not what they used to be. But there was something else. What were you saying? There was something else. The suicide. Yeah. It's not enough to ask a patient, are you suicidal? Do you have suicidal thoughts? Do you some of them, I think she may even have said, I asked her if she had plans. She said she didn't have any plans. You have to go a lot. You can't just accept their answers. If that was the case, then why did she come into the hospital in the first place? To
begin with. Yeah.
It was just, I'd never do it. I just think about it once or twice. These people don't use their head. And it's partly, it's so rush. And that New Year's Eve hospitalization, her husband, he admitted, he said he brought her there because he was tired of all this. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
And she checked herself out because the next day was her daughter's birthday, and she knew she had to be there because he wasn't going to do anything for the birthday. So she felt so obligated to be home to have the birthday party for her daughter.
I mean, I haven't wanted to talk, like in interviews, I haven't really wanted to talk too much about him because I don't want the jury to hear, some of these bad, but like he, from the beginning, he when she was like having a problem, he would call her parents to stay with the kids. He just did like his own thing. He went with his friends. He did, when he brought her to this clinic, which I don't quite understand. I don't think I heard that right or something, but he brought her to a clinic that was supposed to be for mothers, postpartum mothers and babies or something. And they said she wasn't right for them. I didn't quite get why they said that, but he didn't hang around. He took his son skiing. Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. He fired the nanny. He got rid of the nanny. The nanny testified that she was a wonderful mother, and because she wasn't going to go back to work, he fired the nanny. He brought in his own parents to help the kids. The father-in-law testified that she was great. She was a great mother. They never saw any problems.
Yeah. So how is this even possible? Do you find, going back to her staying in McLean and all that, and also the incompetence of Tufts, she had no idea that she was even in there. Being a patient of hers, had no idea that she would go in there. We got 30 seconds left before the break.
Goodyear. It was
common that a psychiatrist would not know that somebody was admitted, or they wouldn't notify the psychiatrist of that?
You mean to notify Tufts?
Yeah, when she checked herself into McLean.
Well, Tufts wasn't involved. That was good. That was Goodhart.
I think Tufts.
Oh, I thought Tufts was during that. She started seeing Tufts in September of 2022.
Tufts was before Goodhart.
Okay.
But the thing is, that's part of the problem in the mental health system too, that none of the mental health professionals talk to each other, because that takes time. You can't make money when you're talking to these other professionals.
Correct. We got to go to a break. We will be right back. Sorry about that.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. People at the warehouse are always asking me, Gino, you show up smelling like freedom every day, even though you live in the cesspool that is the socialist New York City. How do you do it? Sugar Creek Goods. Sugar Creek Goods is made by patriots and has a full line of incredible products, including soaps and lotions, and even this that you use for your dog, Patriot Puffs. My wife makes me use that. But people, please, get your own. Go to sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. See ya.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Hey, Paul, I was having a pillow fight with Gino's wife.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's not supposed to stay up that late.
I have the video. And now let me tell you, talk about soft. When I think soft pillows, I think of other than Gino's wife, mypillow.com, because these are the best pillows you're ever going to get. You can go to mypillow.com /TAFW. Go now, get your MyPillow right now.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today.
I got to tell you, a lot of my followers are asking, hey, Midnight, where are you getting all that energy from? I say, you want to know the truth? I take about 25 milligrams of Adderall a day. But that eventually ends, and then that's where Agara coffee comes in. I start drinking this stuff, and it boosts my energy. It shoots me right through to the moon. If you're not drinking Agara coffee, and you need that extra boost during the middle of the day, I'm telling you right now, get this into your system, and I promise you that it will absolutely take you to a whole nother level. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back to 2G1C Red, White, and Blue here on the America First Media and Television Network. We are joined again with Dr. Carol Lieberman, and this is intense case of Lindsay Clancy. We all have our opinions on it, that is for sure, along with everybody else in America and across the world. This is getting worldwide attention, and rightfully so, because it's really getting to the point of where are we at with mental health in this nation. Where has it failed? And it continues to fail. And we see it from active shooters and that were known, that have been, incarcerated and or treated for mental health. We're seeing it all over the place. And this is no different, but it certainly is tragic. And it certainly has led to a lot of theories from a lot of people out there, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I do want to go where Maureen was kind of going with the husband. I want to
But wait, I wanted to ask this. I think it's a very important question, Dr. Carol. Do you feel like this case is now going to cause people to not get the medications? You know how we had the opiate epidemic and then now pain medication? Do you feel now doctors are going to be very hesitant now about providing medication in mental health? What do you think about that?
Well, it's a tricky situation because that's how they operate. The patient, they give them one prescription, the patient comes back, they're not better, they give them another prescription. If they don't do therapy, what else are they going to do? It's give prescriptions. But what's interesting is that we also have RFK Jr. is talking about overprescribing.
Correct.
And I actually wrote a couple of op-eds about this, how he doesn't realize, yes, I certainly agree. I've been talking about that they get overprescribed because they don't get therapy. But I wrote about how he doesn't realize, he's poking the bear and he doesn't realize what he's up against. When I was earlier in my career, I was very active in the American Psychiatric Association. I was on their national committee, Public Affairs National Committee. And so I remember when the biggest thing for a number of years was trying to stop psychologists from getting the ability to prescribe medication. Because if psychologists got that, there wouldn't be any difference between there is a difference, of course. Psychiatrists go to medical school and are able to know better how the body interacts with their mental issues. But people, who don't know all of that or, would just want a cheaper option would go to psychologists. So they won that. Psychologists can't prescribe medication. However, it has come back to bite psychiatrists because now we have, and Lindsay Clancy went to some of them, nurses who can prescribe medication. Now, nurses have so little education in general, especially in terms of psychiatry or in terms of prescribing psychiatric medication. And I have seen, I get to see these things when patients come to me after they have seen a nurse, for example, a nurse practitioner. And they are so screwed up both with their medication and their mental health. And Lindsay went to two, I've read that she went to two nurse practitioners. And with postpartum psychosis or any kind of psychosis, you don't go to a nurse practitioner. I've had cases, I had a case of a pilot who was had some kind of psychiatric problem, and he went to a nurse practitioner, and she totally screwed him up. And he was trying to get back to be a pilot again. Anyway, so I had to put him back together so he could do that. But anyhow, so that's part of the whole thing too. That's even worse than psychiatrists.
Did the nurse practitioner, because, those are, narcotics. They're whatever. I don't know if they call them Schedule 1 or Type 1 or Type 2.
No, not psych. They're psych medication.
Not the psych medication.
It's psych medication, but it's a controlled substance, correct? Some of them are they not?
No, they're not.
So Zoloft, Prozac, Trazodone, none of those are controlled substance whatsoever. So
they're not addictive. Those are not addictive medications.
None of them are addictive medication. Okay,
no, right, Dr. Carroll, you're the expert.
I mean,
Valium.
They're not like Valium is addicting.
That's one of them that she was on.
Yes, Xanax. I don't prescribe those for patients because they are addicting. So you give. You can deal with the anxiety in therapy. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's what you do. And then they don't need these addicting pills.
Correct. Get the root cause. Is that what it's all about? But can a nurse practitioner prescribe Valium now as a controlled substance?
Yeah.
And hasn't that been, so I know that, but didn't that change during COVID basically? It wasn't before that very long where a nurse practitioner could, right?
I'm not really sure.
I think a physician's assistant couldn't, but a nurse practitioner couldn't until there was a certain law change because of COVID, I believe. I could be wrong. Somebody can look that up and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But the point is that there were these 13 medications that were prescribed to her at one point. There is no record of all 13 being in her system. When she was arrested, there was a toxicology report, and there didn't seem to be an overabundance of nothing. She wasn't over medicated at the time of her arrest.
I mean, they did find several different medications.
They did, but not like where she was overdosing on them. Like, you're supposed to take a certain amount or something is what I've heard.
Overdose. But the point is, when you have different medications, it could even be 2 or 3 or 4.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be 13.
Correct.
They fight with each other. They counteract each other. So and you get more side effects and less help. So, it didn't really matter that, you would have expected that she might have had an overdose because she supposedly took a whole bunch right before she jumped out the window. If she jumped out the window and she wasn't pushed by her
pushed out the window. This is what's weird to me.
But if it was the husband, and yes, they found the husband's DNA on all the bands,
and
DNA just on one, which no one's explained that. But if it was the husband, why hasn't she told her lawyer, and why hasn't the lawyer, gotten the husband indicted?
Well, I don't think we know that yet. But Dale, going back to what you said, nurse practitioners, they have been able to prescribe way before COVID. It wasn't
way before COVID. So nurse practitioners.
They could always prescribe controlled substance way before COVID.
Okay,
sorry, I just looked that up.
That's okay.
But
I just wanted to make sure.
Getting back to I want to talk a little bit about the timeline of that night, Dr. Carroll, and things that are bothering me.
And then answer Dr. Carroll's question, because it is weird. Why haven't they said it? Because I know you have a reason why you think that too, Maureen.
I don't think we don't know what she's told her attorney, right? That's
correct.
Attorney-client privilege. Right. She's never admitted to anyone that she killed the kids. Supposedly, when her husband found her on the ground, he said, "Where are the kids?" She said, "In the basement," and that was it. Now, interesting, EMS, doctors in the hospital, she was nonverbal, non-communicating. So if you want to consider that reliable, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
That's why but at the beginning of the case, she and her attorney on her behalf admitted that she killed the kids.
Correct. Correct. Wasn't that at the beginning?
Whether she killed them, it's just what the state of her mind at the time that she did.
This happened on the 24th. On the 25th, he was cleared. On the 26th, she woke up and she was convicted of the charges. I mean, that's
a quick investigation.
Yes.
In a way, without DNA.
I have to put myself in that must have been an insane scene, right? A crazy scene, small town, police force, just horrific, right? So it's moving fast. They're just picking up bodies. They're trying to save the little one, Callan. I mean, it's just crazy, right? She did it. Case closed. They didn't do any other really thorough investigating. Now all these questions are coming up. Are they going to be able to go back forensically? I want to see the computers taken apart, the phones, his email. I want to see all of that, the forensic technology. Now, he worked for Microsoft. He's pretty smart. Was he able to cover his tracks? The timeline doesn't make sense to me. Now the email's coming out that he sent that email from the house at 5:24.
Go into that, Maureen. Yeah, go into the timeline because that is.
So the defense attorney got him on this the other day when he said, you sent this email. Did you send it from your phone or did you send it from your laptop? And he said, I don't know. And then the attorney had the metadata and said it came from the laptop. So that would say he sent it from the house at 5:24. He got back at 6:09. Are you going to tell me she had the time? Plus, she was supposedly drugging herself, that she went down to the basement and killed those 3 kids, went back up, moved the bed, and threw herself out the window. I don't think so.
That's a good point. Yes, very good point. But here's the thing. So let's say she didn't. Let's say he did it. Maybe she was so psychotic that she became convinced, like he told her, you did this. And she believed it.
Yeah, and also
she wanted to kill herself. You know, she was obviously feeling like she was a bad mother. So maybe
he was feeding her that. I think he was dripping that to her for years. And the other thing is her body temperature. It was 82 degrees.
Right.
That means she had to have been outside in the snow for a lot longer than 30 minutes or however. If he left at 5:24, how did she kill all 3 kids and throw herself out the window and her body temperature was 82 degrees? None of it makes sense.
Was there, after that 5:24, Maureen, and you can ask me, and I was trying to look through my notes, was there, he went to CBS, he went to pick up food, he went,
originally he said he left the house at 5:15, CVS is 3 minutes away, but they kept asking, how come you didn't walk into CVS until 5:32 when you left at 5:15? And he said, well, I don't know. Well, then that's when the defense attorney grilled him and got the email proof.
That's what I remember too. Thank you.
So he walked into CVS, that was within 3 minutes, but then the food was a lot longer. So people are having a theory that he went back to the house, something food, then came back home. If you look at the evidence pictures, he has the CVS bag with the food bag, and he has the kids' dinner plates unused because he left the house saying they were eating dinner, clean dinner plates on top of the CVS bag. How did that happen? And he testified he got a call from Lindsay, right? And then put it on top of the CVS bag. Well, they were already strangled down in the basement. Then he claimed—
We got 10 seconds, Maureen, just so you know.
And he also claimed that he bought the generic Metamucil for children when through the bag you can see you didn't, because that was his claim to Lindsay calling him. So.
We will be right back. We got more with Dr. Carol Lieberman.
It's me, Joe the Fox, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land. I've been there, I looked, I tried to see. Here I am in New York City, watching a nice sunrise. Not really. I'm in the warehouse. I'm telling you about a conservative organization, not the AARP loser, left wing, forget about it. This is where you need to be. You get everything conservative menus. America.us/EAFW.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Hey Patriots, we're excited to bring to you Sugar Creek Goods, all natural quality skincare products brought to you by great patriots like we are here. That's why we brought this into the America First warehouse. All these great natural products are amazing, and you can get them on our website and go right to www.sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. These are phenomenal products. I love them all. And this one right here is for Patriot Pup. Thank you so much for supporting us.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
We are back. I am Maureen Enner with my co-host Dale. Boy, this is heated. I feel like we're going to need therapy after this. We're going to need a session with Dr. Carol.
Do you take insurance?
I'll give you my credit card. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Take it all. Take my money.
Yeah, this is intense, this case. And again, this has captured the nation, has captured the world. Internet sleuths are, especially the women, a lot of stay-at-home moms. They've all come out and said this was the best time of the year, summer vacation, we're home, we can watch this trial. And they're putting pieces together that other people aren't thinking about. So we are in the midst of it today with Dr. Carol talking about how the mental health failed Lindsay Clancy. I believe the criminal justice system failed her. I feel the prosecution is not up to par at all. I think that what happened that night is this is a relatively small town. This horrific event happened. First responders, everybody came in. They were horrified. They did their best. They probably didn't do as thorough of an investigation as they would do today, thinking twice about it. She supposedly killed the kids on the 24th. On the 25th, he was cleared of all charges. And on the 26th, she wakes up in a hospital and is told she killed her 3 kids. Dr. Carol, can you imagine? Tell me what, just that alone, and her not having any memory of anything, what do you think?
Yes, and it's likely that she didn't have a memory because, first of all, jumping out the window, I wonder how much damage she did to her head, although it seemed like she didn't land on her head. I don't know.
Yeah, feet and spine, and that's why she's paralyzed.
Yes,
but,
right,
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
But, she would have been in a very vulnerable condition to believe whatever people told her. And, so I'm wondering if maybe as these more and more evidence is coming up against the husband, I'm wondering if maybe they can call well, it's probably going to be a jury, what do you call it? A jury that why can't I come up with the word? What's a stall jury? What jury?
Oh, a hung jury? Like a
hung jury. Thank you.
A hung jury.
But in any case, you were talking before about how they haven't been giving him all these different records and so on that he's been asking for. I would think that's a cause for appeal if they did find her guilty.
Well, he has contempt. He has 2 contempt hearings over that. Her defense attorney.
Okay.
Yep, he does have 2 contempt over that. Can I briefly ask about what is called the attempted suicide, her jumping out the window? And Maureen has some information about what a neighbor saw, but mine's going more towards, real quick, if you don't mind me asking. That seems like a highly unusual way for a person to want to commit suicide. Yeah. And just in review, basic knowledge, looking up, how do people do it? What is the typical way? Is it overdosing? Are they hanging themselves? Is it, so you got firearm related, poisoning, overdose, suffocation, falls or jumping is number 4 on a list of how people typically try to do that. This just seems like a bizarre way that she would try to attempt to kill herself, especially with all the medication she has, and maybe she supposedly strangled the kid. So there's rope, there's things you can hang yourself with. That's very common for women as well as hangings. So is this not weird?
The most common way that women kill themselves is by pills, overdosing.
And she had plenty of those. She had all of the Xanax and
yes. And yes, sometimes women hang themselves, but women generally don't do the more, like, they don't use a gun generally. They don't do the more violent means. So, and that was the thing. Like, so I know weren't they trying to say, the prosecution, that she didn't think she was going to die by jumping out the window?
So they were trying to say she was not suicidal. The prosecution was pushing that hard, that she was not suicidal. So. She didn't want to kill herself.
Correct.
Yes. So, and I think they were trying to say that she figured that there was snow on the ground, that she wouldn't really get that injured.
Why not?
The window was 20. It was a 20-foot drop. Yep. It was a 20-foot drop.
But at that point, that doesn't even make sense, because why not just walk out the front door? Why would you jump? If he's not there, if he's not home, and you just did what you did, and you're not suicidal, leave.
Yeah. Why not pretend that you are, right?
Why? Correct. Yep. So it's, just a thought on it. It's just a weird way, and I didn't know if that's something that maybe in your experience, and have either heard from other psychiatrists or yourself experienced with a patient or anything like that, that jumping is a 20-foot window would be a means of, like, that's how I'm going to do it. Because it seems weird.
Unusual, right?
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever. Well, I knock wood, have not had any patients commit suicide on my watch.
Thank God. That's how good you are.
I asked a little more questions than, are you suicidal?
Mm-hmm. You do your job and do it well. That's right.
Dig down, into like what's going on in their life, really. Like I was, like with Dr. Tufts, she should have asked, with this therapy, she should have asked about her relationship. Like even if she would have asked about her relationship with her husband.
Yep.
And she said that one session the husband came. That's of course, 17 minutes of therapy. You can't ask the husband very much, but that would have been a great time, even to look at their body language and get an idea of how well their relationship is doing.
True.
But
can I ask? I'm sorry, Dr. Carroll. When you were talking about, I just want to share a little bit. I have suicide in my family. My dad's mother killed herself when my father was 16. She drove herself to Palm Springs. She had some health issues. Obviously, I wasn't born, so I don't know the whole story. It's just what I've heard from family. But she killed herself. She drove herself to a hotel in Palm Springs and took an overdose, and she killed herself. My dad was 16. I was born 4 years later. I want to just talk a little bit about suicide and mental health from my perspective and in my family, if you don't mind, because I think it's important to share this, because we need to be aware of all of these things. That suicide from a grandmother that I never knew trickled all the way down to me. Like it is such an impact on families, or I'm just going to say family because that's how I know to speak of. My father, and this is 1960, nobody dealt with it, right? It was, nobody talked about it.
Yep.
And when I got older, I kind of wanted to know about it. And I sort of dug around, and then my father finally admitted to me, but he was affected by it. He still is. My mother was affected by it because he was affected by it. I was affected by it. It is such a domino effect. Can you maybe legitimize what I'm saying?
That it's absolutely true. In so many different ways. First of all, it's that, what do you call it? It's like that story, that family story, that does get trickled down, that and of course you have to wonder whether you have whatever, whether there's a genetic connection, whether you're going to be wanting to commit suicide. I'm sure your father, kids of a parent who commits suicide, that's the strongest.
Yeah.
Because, the kids blame themselves. What did I do? Or what didn't I do? Why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't she love me enough to stay around for me? It's devastating.
Yeah. And I just felt like it was important for me to share that, because suicide has just such an impact for years and generations. And I have had my own mental health situations. I have struggled over the years. I finally was able to really get healthy because my husband was a police officer. And when I met him, he was able to recognize things that were going on in my family and what was happening. And he got me away from it, and he got me healthy. And I've never been healthier mental health wise. And I thank God for that every day. Then he dies 2 years later. Weird, right? I think he made sure I was going to be healthy.
I think so, in a way.
I do,
right.
But I had horrible mental health issues, and we could do a whole nother show on that. But I take Seroquel every night. I take 50 milligrams of Seroquel every night. I've done it for 10 years. When my husband died, I was on 300 milligrams of Seroquel.
Wow.
And she was on, I think Lancey Lindsay Clancy was on 500 milligrams.
Is that what she was on?
I think.
500? Jesus. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, maybe she was on 300 and so was I. I just know that I was on 300. I couldn't
Is
function.
that an antidepressant medication?
No, it's
I'm
a
sorry.
sleep. It's a sleep
pill.
It's to help you.
To tell you the truth.
Yeah, tell me what I'm taking because I take it to sleep.
I take Lunesta to sleep.
Psychiatrists, especially these days when they give out pills willy-nilly, so you go away, right? At least for a month or so.
Yeah.
They do give it to people, and I think they gave it to her because she had sleep problems. But it's an antipsychotic. And it is, the side effect is that it makes you sleepy. So, really, unless you have someone, you don't have to admit that on, live television. Well, I know it's not live, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people shouldn't, that's one of my pet peeves. Well, my pet peeve in general is about all these crazy medications that people are on. But like if you need something to sleep, there are other ways there are other medications or certainly therapy to deal with what's keeping you up. But not giving somebody an antipsychotic. That's using a hammer to kill an ant.
Gotcha.
Really? Because I've taken it for years, like over 10 years. And it's the only thing that ever has helped me. It literally puts me to sleep and I wake up and I feel fine.
Well, maybe during the time that your husband, right after your husband died, you might have needed it. You might have.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
But but I don't know that you do now.
Oh,
interesting. That's
when I heard Seroquel in her medication, I was like, oh my gosh, I take Seroquel and I've never had a problem. It's 50 milligrams. I take it every night. I go to bed. I wake up. I feel fine. I don't have any problems.
Yeah.
I've tried many other things. I've never been able to sleep even since I was a kid. Sleep has been an issue for me. But I just wanted to share that I went through a family suicide in my family. It trickled down. I had a lot of mental health issues, and I got help. And there is help out there for people.
Yeah, for sure. True help, real help. The Dr. Carol Lieberman help, not the Dr. Tufts help, obviously. And I think we can see the difference. Just if anybody's watching this and is paying attention to what happened during that testimony, I think you see the vast difference between psychiatric help and what can be available to you out there. So, Dr. Carol, we have one more segment left. Do you have time to stay with us through that?
I think I really have to go.
Okay, that's fine. You go. We'll finish out the last segment and argue with ourselves.
There's all of a sudden an explosion of people here, so I'm sorry.
We will have you back, Dr. Carol, because this trial is long from being over.
It is. It is. Yep. You go. Thank you very much again. Pleasure to have you here. Maureen and I will be right back to finish out the show.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Visconti, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh, wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers. PatriotMobile.com / it bends to the right. I don't have to tell you. TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Agara coffee. Why? Because it increases focus.
This is T-Mac, the Patriot, and I love Patriot products like Sugar Creek Goods. Check it out today on our website.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
I am Maureen Enner, my co-host Dale. Dr. Carol Lieberman had to leave. She's a busy lady on the West Coast. She's been doing a lot of media with this Clancy case. But I wanted to thank her and thank everybody who joined us. And we're here for the last block of this show. And I just wanted to personally say that I was able to discuss on air with Dr. Lieberman my personal story of having suicide in my family, having my own mental health issues, getting healthy because I got good doctors and I got the help that I needed. And if anyone is out there and you are struggling with mental health, you're having a hard time finding a good provider, you're feeling lost, there are good providers out there. There are good people out there. Don't give up. I know it's frustrating. I went through it. I know it's hard to find a good doctor. I know it's hard to find someone you can trust. I know it's hard to find somebody who's going to prescribe you what you need. Don't let this case discourage you. Get the help you need. If you need to reach out to me, please reach out to me. I saw doctors in California. I cannot tell you the difference that it made in my life from what I had prior to getting the help I needed to what I am now. Everyone knows my husband died 6 years ago. My husband finally got me healthy and sound mind. No, I don't take medication. I take Seroquel to sleep. And my husband died 2 years later. And I think about that every day. I think, did he know? I don't think he knew, but thank God.
No, but the coincidence and the timing of it, Maureen, and thank you for sharing your personal story.
Because I would not have been able to survive that horrific loss in the state that I was in prior to him making sure that I got healthy.
Right.
I don't think I would be sitting here today, Dale. That's how serious my mental health was.
Wow.
And because and because my husband was a police officer, 25 years, he recognized it where other people were in my life didn't. And he saw the signs and he saw the issues and he saw what needed to be fixed. And he made it his mission.
There's one of the big differences, Maureen.
Now, that's why I'm very much against this Clancy husband.
That's what I'm saying. There's a big difference.
Stood by my side, went to my doctor's appointments, got me to a different doctor, got me into the hospital when I needed to be in a hospital. I mean, like, he was by my side.
Yes.
And that's the big difference. My husband was not telling me I was crazy. He was like, no, we need to get you help.
We're going to get you help. That's what a good man does. That's what a good partnership is.
Right. And I don't want people, because I know the shame about it. There's a lot of shame attached to mental health. There's a lot of stigma to it. And if this case can do anything but to bring out the importance of not being afraid to make a phone call a friend, call anybody you trust. If you're alone, call somebody you trust, reach out to me, send me a message. I'm everywhere on social media. Send me a message.
Yep.
But there's help out there. And but in this case, we are seeing, and Dr. Lieberman is saying the same thing. It's not easy. Mental health in this country is far what it should be. It is
what it
so
used to be,
below par of what we need.
Yes.
And I just can't say enough for.
Do you think, sorry, Maureen, do you think that the psychiatric I'll say industry, psychiatric profession in this country has been so deteriorated by the big farm and big pharmaceuticals?
Well, let's go back to what Dr. Carroll said. She said, first of all, it's the insurance companies.
For you. Now,
but it's the insurance companies. Remember what she said in our first block. it's the insurance companies.
Yeah.
That she doesn't even take insurance because she spent her whole time battling insurance companies.
Correct.
So let's start with the insurance companies, because I think that's the root of all of our problem in mental health and our medical system. We don't need Medicare for all. We need insurance reform badly in this country.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's straight across the board. But psychiatric care or mental health care seems to be what's really the problem with insurance. And then Dr. Carroll was saying how these psychiatrists, they just want to give medication and not therapy because they make more money seeing patients. They don't make enough. They can't bill the insurance. You know, it is a failure on so many levels. And I went through that too, having insurance. You know, I know what it's like. Believe me, I know what it's like to have, you know, really good insurance. But I feel like in this case with Lindsay Clancy, and believe me, I've not missed a beat. I've watched this trial. I have
much
taken
more
notes
than I have, but
because I think of my own mental health, and I never had postpartum issues. I never had any of that, but because of my own mental health struggle and what I've had to go through, I've really paid attention. And she was just misdiagnosed, not treated, pushed along, shoved along. And, you know, another thing is I always presented well, and I feel like she may have presented well too.
I think so too. I
when
think
you see somebody in psychosis, or when you hear that word, do you think of them as hair on fire, crazy?
Yeah,
I would walk
not being able to put themselves together, you know, even to go out in public or make public appearances. That was not
when
her.
you present well, these doctors think, well, she's okay. She came in, she's got her kid, she's doing this, she's going to the grocery store. You know, that doesn't mean we're not struggling.
Yeah. Correct.
Or doesn't mean we're not in crisis internally.
Yeah.
And the fact that she did not have a husband by her side, my husband was by my side. He was there the whole time, making sure that I got better.
Yeah.
And boy, that's why I'm going to stand by my thought of the most dangerous man in the world is a man who wants to start a new life.
I don't disagree with that theory.
And that husband didn't do anything to help her.
Yeah. That and on a much lower scale when you're talking about people present themselves well. So there's no way they can have this internal problem or this internal struggle on a much different scale. And medically speaking, you know, my wife had her first heart surgery when she was 40 years old, right? Open heart, like valve replacement, the whole thing. Like 21 days in a coma, she was. It was terrible. But I remember when she first met the thoracic surgeon, and he's like, "What are you doing here? Like, why are you here?" Like, I'm seeing people 25 years older than you. I'm seeing people like, you know, she was struggling. I mean, she was turning blue. She had very difficult heart issues, right?
Right.
Still does, but is much better now. But still has those issues. But it's
but first impression of the doctor, right? Like you don't present like I'm used to seeing.
I don't do this surgery on 39-year-olds. I don't do, you know, this isn't a, you know, something that's common, right? So it's the same thing. She presented herself well. You could never tell that she was, you know,
struggling
had that going on inside of her. But it's the same thing with inside the mind. You don't know that. And there's so many people
when you struggle with mental health as long as I did, you learn to hide it. You learn to push it away. You learn to, you know, not deal with it. And it's really much like having a physical, like what your wife is having with her heart, like it bubbles up. It just becomes something that you cannot contain anymore. And you have breakdowns.
Women are better at hiding that kind of mental issue than men.
Yeah. And I think we have different stigma to us. We have more pressure. We have, we're just, well, I don't know. I think men struggle with mental health too, because they're not like, let's just look at like police officers. Like they don't want to go to their superior and say, look, I'm struggling. That's not good, right? You're supposed to be a cop. You got to be tough. You got to handle it, be a soldier. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe that wasn't fair what I said. That's harder for women. I think it's hard for anyone.
Okay. Yeah,
it's a very difficult thing. But if I could just tell everyone, if you are struggling, I know what it feels like. And it is dark. And you do feel like you're the only one. You do feel like there is no hope. You do feel, because you go in these moments of just deep darkness. And that's what you have to and Dr. Carol is absolutely right. It's not medication only. You have to go to therapy. You have to find the problem. You have to find the root of the problem, and you have to eliminate that from your life.
Yep, correct.
And
I agree.
So she's absolutely right when she talks about it's medication. Now, interesting, I was diagnosed and then put on medication and then went to a really good mental health facility, a doctor, and he said, no, you don't have that. And they took me off of it. And I've never been on any medication since. So I was just told, yeah, you're this, here, take that. And I didn't even have that.
That's right.
And the medication never helped me. And I couldn't understand. And then when I went to a really good psychiatrist, he was like, he did a very extensive appointment with me. And he's like, no, you don't have this.
It's easy to diagnose the broken leg. It's not a broken mind, you know. I mean, that's the difficult part about it all, you know.
So I think that's why I'm so involved in this Lindsay case. I really feel for her. I feel like she had no support at home. I feel like he was telling her that she was crazy. I feel like she didn't have good doctors. I mean, that's all coming out now. It's all perfectly obvious.
It is, and this is far from over, obviously, and we're going to stay in tune with it. And we'll have Dr. Lieberman back once.
Oh yeah, this case is far from over. She said these doctors that failed her, these psychiatrists, these psychiatric schools, these medical schools need to be using this case as their part of their
which was a great point. Absolutely,
of what not to do.
Of what not to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy, isn't it? So let's wrap this up with a minute and a little over a minute left.
Well, thank you everyone for letting me share my story. Thank you, Dale. I think it's very important. And I am at the point in my life now where I'm very proud to be able to say, look, this happened to me. It can happen to anyone. Get help and I'll help you.
And that's important that people do talk about it. It's the suppression that's caused a lot of this too. People hold it in and hold.
Well, that a grandmother of mine a grandmother that I never met died 4 years before I was born, killed herself. It trickled all the way down.
It trickled all the way down. And that's what suicide does. It affects so many people for so long, for generations, absolutely generations.
And I think about that woman that I never met every day.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Think about her every day.
Strange,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's just always going to be there. And that's the way suicide is. And it's so, to me, always so selfish. And so there's help out there. So it's a selfish.
But this was 1960. It was a different world.
Of course. Everything was different. The mob ran Vegas. Vegas was great. You know? So I'm just telling you.
Vegas was clean and fun.
Vegas was clean and Vegas was fun and Vegas was the place to be. So it was
I'm really excited that we did this show. I'm really happy. It's very timely. Everybody's paying attention to this. It's very important. It's bringing all of this to awareness, especially mental health.
Agreed. We've got a few seconds left to thank everybody out there for joining us. Stay tuned here at the network for just a lineup of great podcasts out there. Maureen, thank you for your contribution and your friendship and for your sharing your stories with us here as well. And for lining up Dr. Carol Lieberman today. We want to thank her as well. Absolute pleasure. I love her to death.
She's the reason we're together, you and I.
It's weird, isn't it? It's a strange, small world. So, Maureen, thank you. We'll be back here next Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone.
What will happen by then? So stay tuned. Thank you, Maureen. Any last words?
Thank you, everyone. Again, if you need help, if you're struggling, reach out to somebody, reach out to me, but get some help and don't be ashamed of it. And we will see you next week. Thank you, everyone.
Amen to that. Thank you. Bye.
We couldn't do it without you. Your support keeps us strong. Right where friends